Hello guys, Dillo304 here. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a controversial thing that I've seen in the news lately. More of the internet news anyway. Today we're going to be talking about the iPhone Air 53 that people have been concerned with recently. Basically what it is that in iOS 9, Apple actually changed something so that if the original Touch ID fingerprint sensor and home button cable are not present in the phone, or the phone has a different specific button and cable, i.e., not original to the phone. They decided that they were going to brick the phone with error 53 and not let you restore it. So, given that information, it sounds pretty bad, right? Well, I'm going to kind of explain why people are making a pretty big deal out of a small thing here and why third-party repair shops are kind of incompetent. And don't worry, I'll explain all of that now. So basically, what people have been saying is that they had their phone, had the screen replaced at a non-Apple store, i.e. like a third-party repair shop or something of that nature. And then later on, they updated to iOS 9 and tried to restore their phone, and they got this error 53, and obviously, understandably, they would be pretty pissed off. Now, Apple has taken a stance on this. They have acknowledged that the error is a thing, and their reasoning is that it's to enhance security. So they explained that if they did not have this security measure put into place, is that someone would be able to access the secure enclave, as Apple called it, to where your fingerprint data is stored in the phone, and potentially other data such as credit card information and other things of that nature. So to combat that, of course, they've put this security measure into iOS 9. And so for the unknowing consumer, someone who doesn't know this information, and they go and get their screen replaced at a third-party repair shop, like a mom and pop shop, and then they get this error, they would be pretty pissed off. But really, it's not so much Apple's fault as it is the repair shop's fault. And with the repair shop knowing this information, this was a thing with the 5S. So back when the 5S was released, they tied the home button and the cable to the phone, meaning that if you replaced it with a different one, Touch ID would not work. It wouldn't break your phone, but Touch ID would not work at all. And that was okay. I guess people didn't really care if that were the case. But all you have to do to prevent yourself from encountering this error is if you go get your screen replaced from a third-party shop, just make sure that they transfer over the home button and cable. And uh, a lot on the 5S, I believe they could even Apple themselves could not reprogram a new home button to work with the phone. The thing is that if you go get your phone swapped or you get your phone repaired at an Apple shop, they can actually replace the home button and cable and then re-verify, I guess is the word. They can actually retie that new part to the phone's logic board. But only Apple can do that. A third-party shop does not have access to that. They cannot do that. And so if you're getting your phone repaired at one of those shops, you better make sure that they transfer over the home button and the cable to the new display assembly if you're swapping that. And so this actually speaks volumes about the incompetence of certain repair shops not knowing this information. Again, like I said, this has been a thing since the 5S, and shops have known this. I mean, I don't know if repair shops have actually known this information, but they should know this information. They should be swapping over the parts anyway if they're swapping the screen on a 5S or later. Because if a person walks in with Touch ID working on their phone and they give it back to them with Touch ID not working on their phone, that's kind of a ripoff. And another thing to consider is that, yeah, you may not want to go to Apple because you think it'll be expensive or whatever, but actually Apple charges really good rates for screen replacements. I think they only charge like $120 to replace the screen on your 6S, which actually is somewhat cheaper than some repair shops. Some shops charge like $150 to swap the screen on your phone. And so, and then there are going to be those other people who will say, well, I don't have an Apple store close to me, So in that case, what am I left with? Well, again, if you want to still go through Apple, you can mail your phone in. I know this is an inconvenience for most people, so they're not going to do that option. If you don't want to do that option, I wouldn't even want to do that, actually. If you can't get your phone to an Apple store, in other words, like I said, just make sure that the repair shop does swap those two parts, and you won't have any problems. So this isn't, like I said, this isn't Apple's fault. This is more the repair shop's fault, and consumers, people, are suffering from it. And so I think in the realm of the whole NSA security thing recently, with the concerns about privacy and these companies who just don't seem to care and just, give your data away to the NSA and whatever. I'm glad that Apple is actually taking a stand, and Apple seems to be the only company that actually cares about consumer privacy. They encrypt your iMessages and other data. The fingerprint is actually not like your fingerprint inside the phone. It's actually, like a crypto key. So that kind of thing, Apple is the only one that seems to actually care. And so I think from a security standpoint that this implication in iOS 9 is actually a good thing. But again, for those people who unknowingly got their phone repaired at a third-party repair shop and they didn't do it right, they're kind of SOL. So that sucks. But at the same time, I can understand Apple's motives for doing this. Is it right? Well, I don't know. I feel like the people who were. I don't know if Apple should take responsibility for the third party shops mess up. I don't know if that's really their responsibility to do. I think that people need to be a little more careful about where they take their phone to fix. They need to make sure that whoever is repairing their phone is competent enough to know this information and act accordingly. So that's my stance on the Apple thing. See you guys later.